Is that possible? 1%?
In fact, they can even give it to them without any interest rate. We are in place of emergency. That's the truth. Within 9 months, you flood the nation with food, if you are serious. Within 21 weeks, layers start laying. Is that not? So what we need to do is not to be crazy about neoliberalism. Then you ask yourself, why do we have, since we have embraced SAP, why do we have heightened and consistent corruption? Billions stolen. Because government has virtually relinquished its social responsibility, so there's too much money to be stolen.
Okay, so what if government decides that we have assets that are underutilized, that are not being profitable, and we still are paying salaries? That's cost of governance. We're still paying salaries to a lot of people there. Why don't we sell this to individual businessmen who can take care of those salaries, and we can focus on providing this other infrastructure, so that the monies that we're talking about, we can take those monies and give them out as loans at zero rate? Wouldn't that work?
Economy really is, economics really is common sense most difficult by the bourgeois economists. They think of these super investors as magicians. And they're not going to make the money from here. What do? They go to banks to raise money. And the state government will also be the guarantor. We have seen this in power. We've seen it in oil. We've seen even daily times there. What happened? So what we need to do, really, is to broaden the scope of participation by involving Nigerians in productive sector, enabling them to be on the farm, to be in the market. Why can't you ask yourself that why these so-called foreign investors and big investors are closing down? The market government are there, struggling on a daily basis.
Would it be better if the government comes in to say they will want to sell off those that are not viable?
Why are they not viable?
That's why they should be selling them, because they're not viable. For instance, you look at some of the airports that are in some of these states that are not viable, and you leave the other big ones like the airport and some couple of other ones like the Abuja airport. You can bring in other investors and say, grow it. This is maybe a relatively unknown airport within a small locality. Perhaps you can grow it and invest in it.
Those commonwealths are not viable because they are made not to be viable. The question you put to them, who appointed the management? All you need to do is to democratize the management and put the commanding sector in the hands of the stakeholders. How can you, take for instance now, Port Authority? The government has just appointed the board. Do we have drug workers representative there, nominated by them? Do we have even the truck drivers there? Do we have other unions there? So when you appoint people that will go and cannibalize place, it's a problem. We cannot carry the burden of your mismanagement. All they need to do now is, when you say change, it means not only attitudinal change, it's also a change of orientation, a change of philosophy, a change of ideology. That look, we are Nigerians, we have no other place to go than to work, to profit, and of course to make living. That's the process of government. It's not to make money for few people, creating them like, giving them some magical Thompson. Don't forget to, let's look at history. And yesterday I was addressing some people and said, look, if a family head that Yoruba call Olurebi think that now family should start selling again, the first thing you have to tell us.
Family should start doing what?
Start selling everything again.
Okay.
The first thing the family head should do is to list for us those that have been sold, how much was sold, and what they have invested those things on. And I'm saying this is not possible. Just about the last Senate, the probe they did, they discovered that over 90% of the so-called sold assets were only used to raise money and disappear. And they only those who bought them, so to say, they went to banks, get money, and use those property to even use as collateral. So when they say they want to sell, people want to buy. It's so magic. It's not government magic. It is you and I that can develop the Nigerian economy through enhancement. And I'm telling you, a lot of people want to farm. Government will say go to farm, go to farm. I've been dealing with farmer over 30 years. The same thing is happening now. We have over 50 acres of land in Ebeko. We have the same argument. We have 5 acres in Shonyi. We have over 50 acres in Ibadan. With the same argument. When the youth comes, what do they do? When you are in periods of emergency, you must show new orientation, new aggressiveness.
So you're saying that the problem here is not a question of underutilized or unprofitable assets. It's a question of no fresh ideas?
It's a question of being tied to neoliberalism, reducing governance and government to rent collection. It's as simple as ABC. And if that is government...
Rent collection or redirecting the focus of governance to providing to providing the basic amenities that were supposed to have been provided years back.
Government's supposed to do that. I went to public school.
Okay, but that,
all my life.
All of that's gone. So maybe that's what the government's thinking of doing again.
I can't go. You can't. All you need to do is go and revive. I went to public school. You ask yourself today, all the money I spent in OAU, one of my daughter will take it for one semester, one term school fees. Is that a living? Are we advancing?
But you're saying go and revive.
Yes.
You revive what is still there. What if it's no longer there? You have to redirect.
Who stole them? Can't you revive? Can't you collect your... Take for instance, Daily Times. That was the pride of journalism in Nigeria. When you wanted to sell, if you need to, which I disagree, if you want to revive Daily Times, all you need to do is to call prominent journalists that have seen Daily Times as their baby. What do? They sold Daily Times to somebody who... I'm sorry, who are not journalists. And today, we have Daily Times on the newspaper. So, there are certain things we have to do. I'm not saying people should... the government should not allow private investors. But what I'm saying that you don't allow the economy to be controlled by a few people. That is why we are in this critical recession now. Because I ask you, go to all these markets in Ibadan, Abeokuta, Istokunio, Dugbe, everywhere. You still see Nigerian market women and men struggling even under this hardship to sell. That is patriotism. But all these companies who give Nigeria economy to, they go to Ghana, they go to every other place, or they go away because they cannot afford not to have maximum profit. And I'm saying, Mr. President, he has integrity. Good enough, which is the core value. But it should be reminded that his integrity now is like a candle lighted and put on the fire. Why? Because under neoliberalism, where you privatize, devalue, retrench, I'm sorry, by next 2 years, Mr. President will look at himself in the mirror and discover that he cannot recognize himself again on the basis of integrity. This is the reality. It takes a radical approach, a reorientation back to the good old days. And it's possible. All you need to do is, you have said agriculture, solid mineral, good enough. And what that means is that where are the incentives?